All right, today's video, we're going to be going over the last weekly PWCC auction, week 77. Just looking at the top cards that sold this week, I got three examples that I want to talk about. Two top cards for $52,000, $36,000. Patrick Mahomes, flawless NT rookie patch autographs. This 50K being an Emerald out of 5 BGS 9 with an 8.5 surface, so you never know. With so many people cracking cleaning, maybe they're hoping to clean that up. I guess BGS 9 with the 295s would maybe be worth more than the PSA 9. That would be interesting to see, but we're going to talk about that later. Anyway, BGS pop 1 of 3, 2 higher. 50K. 50K. This one is the one we're going to talk about a little bit more. The out of 99 National Treasures BGS 8.5 sold for 36K. Um, I guess one thing before I go into this example, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. This was definitely the rookie quarterback kind of week. Big cards going of T-Law, Fields, sorry, Tua, Herbert. I guess I'm surprised there isn't a Fields now. Maybe not this high up. But let's talk about this Patty a little bit more. So this is a Patty BGS 8.5, like we said, 36K. In the last 2 years, there's been 7 sales of this card, I guess, or this grade. Coming out of the pandemic, it was around $80,000, $90,000. A big drop in 8 months right there from 90 to 40K. And then that's kind of where it's sat at that range. It's gotten even cheaper and it went up in the last few months. So I don't know for what reason. Maybe this is like early off season people sold these, but again, this is like two was the Super Bowl. So this is 2 months after the Super Bowl. It's selling for its lowest. It's up now. Anyways, I just kind of want to talk about for a second a PSA 9 last 2 years, 3 sales is $60,000. Is 20,000 or I guess 15,000 more. No, yeah, 24,000 more. I apologize. $24,000 more than the BGS 8.5, as well as a BGS 9 being worth about the same. So maybe the PSA 9 is more than the BGS 9, even with 295s. For the other Patty. But $20,000 more for a point, for a half point. Is it really that important? Or the point? I don't even want to look. I guess let's do 9.5. Again, up another 20, 30K. For what? For what though? Realistically, these are all the same cards. I get it that there's a minor difference, but 0.5 from an 8.5 to a 9 being almost a 2x, I think is a little ridiculous. Anyways, it's very interesting just to think about. Regardless if you agree with it or not, it's just interesting to see the difference there. Like we said, Herbert, 3, very close to that Patty. Again, which is incredible just based off, I apologize, just based off like what they have done in their career award wise, Super Bowl wise. Um, these two cards exactly the same. Again, 0.5 higher on the Herbert. So maybe if this example is an 8.5, maybe from that example it's like 20,000. I don't have the card ladder on this. This wasn't my example, but yeah, that's just right under the Patty. So would you rather have this card or this one for the same price, basically? I would obviously say the Patty Mahomes. This is the next card we're going to talk about a little bit. 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James Refractor PSA 10. Sold this week for $28,000, almost $30,000. Let's look at the chart for this. So this is the LeBron James Refractor. It has the last comp right here. Pop 175, 55 sales in the last 2 years. And this card has basically gone straight down since the pandemic. This is coming out late 2021. This card is about 80K. There's multiple sales in that range. You start to see a small decrease. You could assume that these people might have been nervous. These are really weak. Maybe these are a week away, and you just say, I guess that was a lucky one. And then from there, it took a big dump down to 40K in the span of 3 months, and then just again, continuing to move down slowly. with this being one of the lower end ones, it's still selling at 40K. But imagine again what he did in this time historically. Not saying that this card, $28,000, isn't a ridiculous amount. I'm just saying the chart doesn't feel like I would be able to say like what he was doing with his career at this point, maybe what achievements he had won. Um, Maybe it's just because the card was overpriced at that time. So what we're going to look at before the next example quickly is that point of like what the all-time chart looks like and what this was selling for. Obviously, I wouldn't say in this time is something that you could possibly look at, but they do have an enormous record of sales for this particular card. So to have all these like incredibly cheap sales in the early mid 2000s to even 2010s, early 2010s, this was, I guess $1,000 was when it started to be a lot, but just slowly climbing up as an asset during these like sleeper times kind of shows you that there has been true value kind of built into this card. Like this is what a chart should look like. So I guess maybe from this 2019, it should still, if it was slowly ascending like this, it should really only still be at about $10,000 maybe. I do think 20,000 is a little high. But you could see that this card was selling for over $200,000. $200,000 multiple times, multiple times over $100,000. And it has absolutely corrected back down. Kind of, but you can imagine this chart kind of slowly creeping up 1%, 1%, 1%, and that curve starts to exponentially grow up and the compound interest of this card. But I do think this is still gonna come down a little bit. I really still think this is gonna come down a little bit, but I feel like this is the floor. $10,000 is the floor for this. If this is not worth $10,000, there is a serious concern for other cards in the market. So anyways, just remember this chart for when we go back to our examples. Looking at a couple of the next sales, beautiful finest Kobe rookie PSA 10. I've seen this sell a couple of times recently, I believe. Maybe I've seen nines, but I just feel like I've seen this card a lot at the top in recent weeks, and it's an awesome card. But Kobe sneaks in there. Next QB to go off the board was Tua. I call him Fields before, a little disrespectful. We see the first baseball card in a Ty Cobb turkey red, beautiful card in a nice tuxedo at $18,000, and then T Law kind of rounds about the QBs out of the 20K range at 18 as well. But again, this is a funny example to see like these two cards at the exact same price selling on the exact same day to probably two people who are total polar opposites kind of. And I would assume this person could care less about football, and I could assume, or I could believe that this person could care less about vintage baseball. So just another example of like when you're looking at this, just which card do you think from an investment standpoint? Obviously, I would say the T-Law is probably more fun from a fun standpoint, but I guess we're talking about long-term investing most of the time. So that's just the way that I'm looking at these two examples. See another baseball in a Shohei, same kind of thing. Like, not that Shohei Ohtani is not absolutely incredible comparatively to Ty Cobb, but these two cards are selling at the same kind of price range. A Topps Chrome Gold Wave, not even, I thought that was orange, so it's out of 50, it's not even out of 25. I'm gonna do a whole video on the Gold Wave, gold vinyl, gold mojo, gold regular. But anyways, next off, beautiful Steph Curry card. I'm glad he's the first modern basketball player to go, because that's how it absolutely should be right now. Excluding LeBron, I guess. But again, this isn't even really a rookie, so this is very expensive for 2017 Immaculate autograph jersey. Here come our next two beautiful cards, and this is where I'm gonna stop the video. But again, these two cards at the same exact price. Just looking at them, two vintage respective GOAT, and Willie Mays an incredible player, a GOAT to many. Selling at the exact same price, PSA 9s of Jordan's rookie and just an early Mays 59 tops. But we're going to be talking about the Jordan, not the Mays, unfortunately. We're going to be talking about the Michael Jordan that did $16,800. Let's look at the chart. This is the Michael Jordan PSA 9 all-time chart. So again, just want to flip back real quick. Very similar to the LeBron. We're back on the Jordan, by the way. There's 1,300 sales on this. Half the pop has been sold All time, I apologize. So, yeah, I can imagine that that's possible. In the last 2 years, there's only been 300 sales. So let's look at the 2-year chart quick. Very steady value coming out of the pandemic, dropping a little bit to be fair, and these sales are a little bit lower over here, but all time, again, very similar. Just not worth much, worth thousands of dollars, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, $1,000 is a lot of money, but slowly increasing. And very similarly, looking at these charts, I mean, we're looking at March 2015, this worth $2,000. You look at March 2015, this LeBron card is worth the same amount. So I mean, you want to talk about an example of a card in 2015 that I'm looking at March. Okay, so it took a couple of months maybe later to get up to that price, but you could buy these two cards for a very similar price, and which one? The LeBron outsold the Jordan. Wow, that's very interesting. Obviously, I should have realized that already because it was higher. But again, this is a refractor, so this is a little more rare. I guess the Jordan is only by grade. Like if this was a base, I doubt the PSA 10 would only be $5,000 with a very similar chart. But again, we're talking about these two cards were the same price in around, you could say, the early 2010s. And I don't know if a lot of people would have predicted that the LeBron was going to beat out the Jordan in that time. So that's very interesting. I might make a separate video on that alone. That's very interesting. But anyways, moving on. All I wanted to say is got sidetracked. I'm happy I noticed that because I'm definitely going to make another video. But like the charts are very similar. This card sold multiple times for, I mean, wow, this never even got to the peak of the LeBron. The LeBron was selling for 200K. The BGS 9.5 never got close. Wow, that is so interesting. And I mean, here's the thing. This is a Pop 2000. This is a Pop 175. And I think that's what I guess I need to consider a little more because the PSA 10, which is still double the pop of the LeBron, is, this much more, is $100,000. And in 2015, it was a bigger investment. But you're talking about, that's all I'm saying is these two cards were worth the same. The 9 and the LeBron 10. It's all very interesting. But anyways, dipping back off, correcting itself. Now it's down to 16,000. Let's look. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's look just quickly at like the most recent ones. I'll do 3 months. Very steady. 12K is a good buy because the next one was $3,000 more. So very interesting. Those are my last ones. And what I wanted to talk about, funnily, to wrap this up, this chart looks very familiar to me. And it's something in my last tab here. This is the Dogecoin. The Dogecoin all-time 5-year. The max is the same. 5-year chart. And, a very slow, maybe you can't even say slow. Yeah, I guess we're moving. There's no real movement in this first year, but this timeline is so small. This incredible pop, for no reason, just a lot of attention and stuff like that, and a definite correction, but still a big increase, 1,000%. You're looking at this big thing. Look at that number. Look at that number. 1720, 1769. Let's look at the LeBron. 10,000%. So, all right, we're talking about the Jordan. So basically, this Jordan, you could put that same money into Dogecoin and had the same return. Jeez, man, I don't know I mean, you make one video like this, I don't know where to put your money anymore. These are the exact same charts. These are the exact same charts.